remember how much it was he raised. I think it was like half of what we needed for camp last year. And he likes to collect knives and stuff, and so we bought him a knife with his parents' permission. And but I didn't want to buy a knife this year because probably I would buy one he already has. And so now you got $50 here. You can go and do with this what you want to, and buy your own knife or do whatever it is you want to. But Timothy this year raised on his own, I guess, is about $1,600 on his own this year, and we certainly do appreciate that. Because $1,600 went a long way. That either pretty much covered the meals or paid for half of people to go to camp, and so that was a big help and a blessing. I think he deserves a big hand. So I want to challenge everybody here to top that next year.
Amen.
Y'all top that next year. If everybody here top that next year,
Wow.
we'll go buy a camp. How about that? And I'd like to do that. I'm telling you, that's a vision I have for the church down the road. Amen. The church continues to grow and move forward for the Lord. I'd love to be able to have our own camp and invite other churches to bring their young people to camp. Amen. There ain't nothing wrong with that. So, but I would challenge everybody to do that for us next year. Timothy, we really do appreciate it. 2 years in a row, you've helped out a bunch, brother. I appreciate that. All right, let's go ahead and get ready for our testimonies here. I tell you what, we'll pray before we do our testimonies, and we'll have everybody come up one at a time to share your testimonies. You don't have to worry about it being long. You don't have to be long-winded like the preacher. Amen. But just get up here and just share with everybody what the Lord's done for you. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and go to the Lord in prayer, and we'll get started with testimonies here. All right. Our dear and gracious Heavenly Father, Lord, we thank you for this day and all your blessings. God, I pray that you help us as we record these testimonies. God, I pray, Lord, that you just help us, Lord, to really share with everybody what you've done for us. And God, I pray, Lord, that for every person that will view this on YouTube and be shared on Facebook, God, I pray, Lord, that every person that views it, Lord, it'll be an encouragement to them, a help to them, a blessing to them. And Lord, maybe for some that are lost, maybe to encourage them to put their faith and their trust in the gospel. If they're out of church, God, I pray, may it encourage them to get rooted into the house of God. Lord, I just pray that you use these testimonies for your honor and for your glory. Lord, we ask these things in the precious name of Jesus Christ. Amen. 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 All right, Brother Clark, if you got the camera set up and ready to go. Is it recording now? Yeah. Oh, it is. Okay, that's great. All right, so let's see. Dennis, go ahead, come on up. You're used to this because you give testimony after every service anyway on Facebook.
I want to thank God for what He did at me for camp. He let me do my testimony and love seeing the kids get saved.
Amen. 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 Same.
Appreciate it.
I want to thank God for saving me. Thank God for youth camp. Youth camp has been a huge part of my life. I got called to preach in 2014 at youth camp, and there's a preacher here, Glorbound, or a bus kid here at Glorbound. Alden got called to preach, and I thank God for it. I thank God for the souls that were saved, but most of all, I want to thank God for youth camp because it helps me in a lot of ways. It helps me in a spiritual way. It helped me get away, not just get away from the things of this world, but get away spiritually from everything that was that got in the way of me serving the Lord. And I thank God that I was able to get in one place away from this world just to grow spiritually. And it's been a huge change in my life. I thank God that for youth camp because it gives us basically every day it gives us an extra service. We get to have church every night, and it's helped me a lot. And I thank God for youth camp.
How's that?
I love youth camp, and a couple people got saved. And basically, youth camp is a recharge boost to all of the people here at church. And it gave me a boost. It probably gave other people here a boost. And I'm gonna go out, and I got recharged so I can go share the gospel.
Amen. Come on, Jordan.
I'm good, Dad.
You're going to come up here in a minute.
Hey, I'll come up there in a minute. I'm thinking what I'm
Okay. Alden?
I thank the Lord for allowing me to be able to come to youth camp because my family has been going through a lot of things, and just a couple of days ago last week I got called to preach. The Lord called me to preach. I feel like the Lord has been tugging on my heart to call me to preach, and I let it out a couple of days ago at youth camp. And I'm just glad that the Lord allowed me to preach because I just feel like it's something to do.
Amen.
And something fun and stuff, and something that I can do.
That's right.
Amen.
You're right.
Amen.
That's right.
Amen.
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 I want to thank God for youth camp. Like they say, it's fun, but the use of it is to get a blessing for the reboost and to see the young kids getting saved and called to preach like Autumn. It's pretty nice, and it's a wonderful blessing to see little kids like that get to call to preach and having time to be with family and friends and do different things and show these kids what it's all about. And it's all based on the Lord and not ourselves.
Amen. Amen. Come up here and tell us about camp. Mark, you might have to do his beside the pulpit. Here, you want your little pulpit?
I should keep that right here all the time.
Just for you? Okay. Well, there's your little one.
I need that too.
I'm just glad for God letting me be a preacher. It's just, I really like camp stuff. That time that Alden got saved, I was really proud of him.
Amen.
Amen.
And like they say, some people don't like camp, but I mean, I kind of like camp. I had this best friend, his name was Dylan? Yeah, Dylan. And I couldn't remember his name because it was a long time ago. I asked him if he could come to this church, and I gave him like one of those long things, like,
Track?
huh?
You want the tracks?
Yeah, tracks. And he didn't come.
You keep trying.
But I moved to schools because I had to move to a different house. So I'm not able to give him that one.
Praise the Lord.
Hopefully one day he's gonna come to a church and we call it a preach.
Amen.
Amen.
'Cause he needs some time with God.
Amen.
That's good.
Amen.
All right.
John, you want to use this one? Come on.
Hey, John, you have to do this. Because it's so tiny.
I want to thank God for saving me, taking me out of the life of sin, and allowing me to have a wonderful church family, and allowing me to go to camp. It was fun seeing all these kids having fun, and I hope to go again next year.
Amen.
Abby?
I just want to thank God for saving me and allowing us all to be able to go to church and allowing us to go to camp and do all these fun stuff, but still being able to have church at those nights and touching all these people's hearts. And I just want to say that those were the best moments of my life. Seeing God and Jesus touching people's hearts. It's just amazing.
Amen. Amen. All right, Jordan.
I'm feeling sick. I like youth camp because if I didn't have gone, I wouldn't have got saved like I did when I was up there. So I'm glad I went to youth camp with all you guys. It was really fun.
Amen.
I just want to thank God for saving me and giving me the opportunity to go to youth camp. And it don't not only touched my heart, but it touched all the kids' heart, like little Alden, he was called to preach. So if you didn't get to go this year, make plans to go next year because it'll start a fire in your heart.
Amen. Michelle.
I want to thank God for saving me first of all, and I also want to thank Him for youth camp. It's really great to get close to God at youth camp, get away from the technology, and get away from everyone that's in the world. And I love youth camp. Woo!
Well, I hope that's not our promo video for youth camp.
That might be right there. A little 3-second clip. Come to you then.
Hollywood side.
They're on fire. You get woo.
Where's
your fire at? Woo!
You was there. Don't tell me you wasn't there. I saw you. I know. Go, Daisy, go.
Come on, Daisy.
Whoa, it's your turn.
I just want to thank God for saving me, and I was camp one day, but I enjoyed being with my family.
Amen.
Emily, you're not hiding. I can still see you.
Ooh.
I tell you what, we'll do this. Girls, why don't you come up here with your mom?
There you go. There you go. It's official. Yeah, that's official. The Three Wonders.
Yeah, they're gonna start their own singing group, the Three Wonders.
First of all, I would like to thank God for saving me and for me being able to go to youth camp this year. I haven't been able to go for a few years, and it was amazing to be there with the kids, to see their faces, and being able to serve for God and to do the things that God needed me to do, and God has called me to do. And the spirit that moved, it was such a sweet spirit, and just seeing us all together and bonding us together, and I enjoyed it.
Amen.
Oh no, no. That was awkward.
They're just going to ride Mama's coattails on that testimony. They said that testimony was so good, we just didn't have nothing to it.
Wait a minute.
Whoa. Yeah, y'all should have done that. Y'all should have. All right, bud. Dog Donnie's flies in here.
It's back. He's back.
I want to thank the Lord for saving me. Let me be able to go to camp. And I think Christian youth camp is one of the best things in the world to go to. You get to fellowship with a lot of different people and a lot of friends and stuff and all. And it seems to make you stronger, Lord, when you deal with other people. You learn a lot of other people's problems and stuff and all, and it kind of helps out. And you know, you look at yourself and you think, well, look at the shape I'm in. Then you get to looking around, you see somebody in worse shape than you, and it makes you just wonder, how in the world do they put up with the stuff that they put up with? And it makes you not want to complain so much. But one thing I learned in camp and everything, and all, I love to work with the kids, and all. I had 2 of them took up with me last day there, and wanted to go fishing and everything, and wanted me to teach them about fishing and all, and I helped them with that and all, and I really enjoyed it, and swimming and all with the friends. And then Pastor and all of them, he had a surprise for me. One of my friends from Belmont, North Carolina, Steve, came up and joined with us, and which that was a whole different church. And they came and worshiped with us and everything. It was all the church services. And I thank God for all these kids stayed on the altar every night. Every night they were all on the altar praying. And that means a lot when you see a kid down on their knees in the altar praying. because they, you know, they're praying for their moms, their dads, and other families and stuff and all like that. And I think it's one of the greatest things in the world. And I love camp, and I'm looking forward to getting to it next year.
Amen.
Lord, spare me the big.
Angie?
I just want to thank the Lord for saving me, and I thank you for this church. You know, I don't deserve anything the Lord's done for me, and I just thank Him for each and everything He does for me.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen. I'm all. It's Jennifer. Surprised she's not in the bathroom. You gonna tell us about where you slept at?
That's the secret. The whole world don't know that. And I like to thank God for saving me and everything He's given and done for me, and to see the kids get saved and stuff, and just to be there with the kids, like, you know, used to be with the bus kids, and I want to do more for the Lord, and I thank God for everything He's given and done for me. And since Eric's been home, little Eric, he's had out his Bible and them Bible drills. He really got into that.
Amen.
He's trying to learn how to look at chapters, verses, and everything, and I really appreciate that. And Elena, she's been sweet, and you can really tell the difference.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen. I'm gonna get even with everybody Bible drill stuff tonight, okay, so y'all don't let it forget. You wanna use my little one too? No, you good
I
too?
want to thank God for allowing me to go to youth camp and for me to get saved and baptized and to meet new people.
Amen.
Amen.
I just want to thank the Lord for bringing me here to this church and letting me come and have fellowship with my brothers and sisters here. The first couple times I came, I was kind of to myself, and it really helped open up bonds and let me have fellowship with the preacher and with all the other members of the church. But what really was the best about youth camp was seeing the children come to the Lord and baptized. Two of mine baptized. One of mine to the Lord, my nephew baptized and brought to the Lord. The Spirit moving in the house of God, wherever we are is the house of God.
Amen.
So it was just wonderful, and I can't wait the next year.
Amen. Amen. All right, Lily's gonna go first, right? All right, Lily, honey, you tell us what God did for you at camp.
I just want to thank the Lord for saving me and for all He's done. And I just thank Him to be able to go with my family and got to spend time with everybody. And I love everybody. And I'm just very grateful for what God has done this week. And I just thank Him for saving me. And able to take me to camp. And can't wait for next year.
Amen. Where's Daniel?
Donald got me.
Well, he can come up here.
Where's Donald?
You can do what my
Hey, Daniel, come up here with your mom.
I just want to thank the Lord for saving me. I've been saved for a very, very long time. And I enjoyed camp. It's a blessing to go every year. And I love camp. Yeah, anything? Okay.
Good job, Dave.
Clerk?
I want to thank the Lord for saving me and getting us to camp this year. I know everyone worked really, really hard to set everything up, to get it ready. Worked hard to plan and prepare and fundraise. But I want to thank everybody for it, because there's a lot of work that goes into it. And it's a wonderful time to get to share in fellowship, to get to know people a lot better. You know, we know a lot of people here at church every week, but you really get to connect at camp. It's a wonderful thing. You get to know the ins and outs, how people wake up in the morning, how people go to bed at night. I mean, you get to really see the person, and that's a wonderful thing. That's what we need as a family all around. So I want to thank everyone that did all the work at camp too. I know we had some wonderful workers at camp, did so much work for us and fed us all and took care of things. So I'm truly grateful, because I had a wonderful time, and I can't wait till next year.
Amen. Amen.
I really don't want to do this.
You need a little short one?
Your dad's coming soon. You might break that.
No, maybe. I thank God I'm saved, and I thank God for youth camp. It's good for us to have a Christian youth camp, especially for the children. And I'm glad that all the kids get to go, and it's they get to go and worship the Lord and have a good time all at the same time. And I'm glad that I get to go also, because I didn't get to go when I was a kid. So I'm a kid at heart, so we all enjoy it at the same time.
Amen.
So it's a good thing for everybody to go and learn, and it's really good that the kids get to worship the Lord and get saved. And Alden was called to preach, and that's a blessing. It's really a good blessing for everybody, especially for him and his family.
Amen. Amen.
Time.
Okay, first of all, I want to thank the Lord for saving me and giving me the family that I have. My immediate family, my church family, because every one of them are special. My youth was gone a long time ago, but it keeps me young at heart, and I love it. I'm looking forward next year to work a little bit harder, get to know people better. And I'm going to tell you, I was truly blessed through this whole thing. I couldn't hardly sleep Friday night. Just hate that it was over. And I'd go back tomorrow, and I want to thank the ones that has worked so hard planning all of this. If they weren't living for the Lord, they'd never made that, all those plans. The biggest blessing I got, when our kids got up to sing, and they were singing, "Bless the Lord."
Amen.
And that song keeps going over and over in my mind, because I think that's the way we're supposed to feel. God is good to all of us all the time. It's beautiful up there. Oh, it was worth the ride up there. It ended too quick. And we was talking about a while ago, we want you to take that extra day back, because the days we had before seemed like it was a lot longer than with this extra day. So I'm looking forward next year. God just blessed us so much. And I love everybody and appreciate everything. And we're going to have to train Asian John a little bit better, because he's struggling in the kitchen.
kid in church got to go to youth camp.
And I behaved myself the whole time.
You did. When I was watching.
I stood on the porch for 4 days. It was wonderful. No, I want to thank God for saving me and blessing me with the family and the church that He has. And just being up there watching the kids laugh and have a good time and seeing them go to the altar and seeing those get saved and Alden getting called to preach, that's just a real blessing. And I think we ought to do youth camp more than once a year.
Amen.
Amen.
Hey, man, I second that.
John?
I just want to thank God for saving me. I thank God for what youth camp is, and it allows us to get away from the things of this world. It allows the church members, the young people, the adults to get away from things of the world and to get closer to God. And it was evident when we seen the kids every single night going to the altar and praying, and we see them getting up, tears in their eyes. I thank God for that. I thank God for the kids who gave their life to God at camp and who are going to continue to serve God. And I pray that we have more people who are like the kids and want to give their hearts to God. I pray that more adults would do the same and would find themselves in the altar as the kids did. Thank God for all the kids that were saved and all the kids that were baptized. I thank God for the young man, Alden, who was called to preach, accepted that calling. Because a lot of people out there, I'm sure there are people who are called to preach all the time and don't accept that calling, or are called to do many things for God, and they don't accept those callings. But I thank God for those who are willing to accept the calling that God has given them.
Yeah.
You go last, because there's no sense in adjusting the camera up and then adjusting it back down. So I'll go ahead and go now. Who? No. No. All right. I want to thank the Lord for saving me and being good to me. The Lord's blessed me in so many different ways. I always look forward to youth camp. Youth camp's got a special place in my heart. First time I went to youth camp was back in 1999, July of 1999. I was 15 years old, and while I was there at that camp, I went, and the only reason why I went was I didn't have anything else going on, and my grandparents had already paid for me and my brother to go to camp, and so I went to camp, and immediately the Lord started getting a hold of my heart, and by that, it was either that Wednesday or Thursday night, but it was that Thursday night, I surrendered to the Lord to preach, and I haven't been the same since. And next month I'll be celebrating 19 years that I've been preaching the Word of God, and it's because I went to camp, got along with God, and God got a hold of my heart and made a change in me. And now it's a blessing as a pastor, as pastor in the church, to be able to take a group every year to a different campground. We've tried out different campgrounds, and but just to get along with God and see what God wants to do with our young people, not just our young people, with our adults as well. And I know it's called youth camp, but it's open up to everybody in our church that wants to go. And I think that's good for the whole church to be able to go together. And as many have already said, the bonds that are made there, the connections that are made there. And I'm very thankful for this camp. I'm glad we did add that extra day. We, in the past, had only gone and stayed from Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, and come home on Thursday. And this year we stayed Thursday night, come home on Friday. And I'm thankful for that extra day. And we just had a wonderful time, all the activities that we got to do. And nobody has said any of this, so I'm going to put this in here as a plug for next year for other people to want to go. Of all the things that we got to do, there was swimming, there was fishing, there was paddle boats, there was tetherball, there was basketball, there was horseshoes, there was a playground, there was a petting zoo, and they even let our kids go up there and feed all the animals at feeding time one morning. And there's so many things to do up there throughout the day. And everybody can go around and be together, and we just have a wonderful time. And in those services, I'm telling you, the services this year were phenomenal. I mean, it got on from the very first service Monday night. Brother Clark preached. I think that's the best I've ever heard Brother Clark ever preach. And the Lord was really in that message. and the folks just hit the altar, and there was kids that got saved. And by the way, it's been mentioned several times that the kids were in the altar. The kids were in the altar every single service, but it was a blessing to see adults in the altar, and it was a blessing to see adults going down and praying with kids, and then in turn, when you see adults go down, you saw kids come and pray with the adults, and that's the way it ought to be. Amen. And Monday night was wonderful. Tuesday night, I'm telling you, Tuesday night was probably one of the sweetest services I think I've been in a long, long time. And then John Rowe got up and preached, and I think that's the best I've heard him preach. And then Wednesday night service was good. Sam and Jonathan preached, and Thursday night I preached. I could tell everybody was tired, but everybody stayed attentive to the long-winded preacher. But we had a good time, and the Lord really moved and blessed. And I'm looking forward to next year. And I want to encourage everybody to go. And it was mentioned earlier about Brother Steve Stevens coming up. He goes to another church. He was there with us. Charlie and his family, Brother Charlie and his family, they go to another church, and they go with us every year. And that's a blessing. And then those folks, I like this. There were people within the church, kids and adults alike, that were inviting people within the campground to come to church service. And there was a man and his son who are not from around this area, but they live somewhere else, and they were at camp, and they came for one of the evenings, so came to the Tuesday night service, and that was a blessing. To see other people come in. And so I love youth camp. I think it's probably the best thing that our church does. Out of all the ministries and all the activities that we do, I think the week of camp every year is the best thing that we do, and I look forward to it every year. And I'm excited about what the Lord did at camp, what He's going to do now after camp, and I'm excited about camp next year and what the Lord's going to do then. And so I want to encourage everybody that's here tonight, let's all go to youth camp together next year. All of us go to youth camp together next year. And you have more people come with us, the bigger it is, the better. Amen. Amen. Certainly there's plenty of room up there at that campground for it. Amen. So I'm looking forward to it. God bless you.
Preacher, she's too much of a kid. She'll be done hurt herself.
That's all right. We got plenty of first aid kids. Let me say, we got plenty of first aid kids. My son tried to be Superman or Spider-Man or Flash. I don't know, became Crash. Jordan thought he caught a fish. Did you even catch one? He didn't even catch one. He thought he had one. And Isaiah tried to jump the handrail and took a 10-foot fall on his arm. And there was bee stings and stuff. And I think we had a first aid kit for every person that was there. And but we had a good time. You always have your little bumps and bruises, and things always happen at camp. But the Lord comes through with everything, and we always have a good time.
Amen.
You got a question?
You also fell off the staircase too. Just look down the staircase.
Y'all pray for my son. He needs to learn how to walk.
I brought my notes.
Take your Bibles and turn
Blair, yes. Yeah, you got it. Wait, you can stand up now, y'all. Go ahead.
I can take my shoes off.
Please don't.
Yeah, there you go, brother. You square.
I was really excited for camp, and man, the camp didn't disappoint. We've been going for 4 or 5 years.
This was our 6th camp.
6th camp, and we've been, between me and my wife, we've been to every one but one, I believe. And this was real special. We do go through a lot. We weren't able to have Kobe there, and that's my right-hand man for 2 reasons. 1, he does stuff. He helps me out. But 2, anything goes wrong, I can always blame it on Kobe. So it's like stuff was going wrong. I'm like, where's? Oh, but he's gonna be there next year.
Yeah, we missed him.
We missed him. I love my buddy Kobe. Sue was in the kitchen. We rented an RV. I guess you call it an RV. I don't know what it was.
It's a mansion on wheels.
But Sue was in the kitchen, and she was cooking something the first night. She swung that pot around, and she burned my arm. And she was like, oops. So at first I was like, man, that's a big burn mark. But then I thought, you know what? Maybe the Lord's going to allow me to have a little scar to remember this camp and never forget it. But I loved it. I loved every minute of it. I have a secular job where I have to research stuff and I have to read stuff, and there's so much negative stuff going on in the world. There's so much hate and division. There's so many people that think that aborting kids is okay, that doing drugs is okay, that committing crimes is okay, that hate is okay. And to go to camp, it's kind of like a reminder of Emmanuel, which means God with us. And so I just felt like God was with us, God saying, you know, just get away from all that for a little bit and just have a time with me, you know. And how do I know that that's true? Because when we should be tired, we weren't tired. And when we should be exhausted or burnt out or worn down, we were rejuvenated. Mama's a great example of that. She'd be cooking and cooking and cooking and cooking, and she was still going. Praise the Lord. And so I know. What's that?
Energizer Granny.
So real quick, Monday 3 souls were saved. I was so thankful to be part of that. And that's amazing because their lives will never be the same. And they translated from worldly life to an eternal life with Jesus Christ. And I'm so thankful for that. A message I was working on in my heart, God started working on me in May, early May, or maybe even late April. And he was tugging on my heart about preaching really about how fruitless life is if you're just with the in crowd and pursuing the things of this world and not giving your life to Christ and to really just be brave and give your life to Christ. Tuesday, I believe is what Mama sang. And I want to say that was one of the first times I've seen that. And that was just amazing. It was beautiful. And Sam and Anna sang on bended knee, and the altar filled up, and it stayed full. And as preacher said, it was just amazing. On Wednesday, I believe it was when Sue sang. She never even sings, so it was amazing to see her sing. Touched my heart. That's when Alden surrendered to preach. And that's just incredible to see that. And I'm excited to see what he's going to do, and I know he's going to do great. Thursday, we had 5 baptized in the morning in the pool, and that was awesome. And to see the family baptized, and to see people coming up to the campground that weren't even part of the camp to see what was going on, to see the baptism happen. You know you got something good going on when other people start showing up and want to be part of it.
Amen.
Children's choir and preacher Mike preaching on what are we willing to give up. There was just so much. There was so much that was awesome about it. Sue, she couldn't be here. She's with the tax credits at home, but she wanted me to say that she was thankful for the time she got to spend with folks that she usually doesn't get to spend, like Jennifer and Angie and Wanda, Mama, everybody, Daisy, everybody that she got to spend time with. She says she usually doesn't get that time because she's always chasing the kids or chasing the big kid. But she got some time with them, and she really enjoyed that. And she's thankful for the women of God that did all the cooking and cleaning and all the helping, and so she was real thankful for that. And I see a difference in her, which is saying something. So, I'm just being real. She'll watch on YouTube.
Burn the other arm.
So, that the final thought is that we've got to stay focused and energized for God. And if it takes having camp, you know, once a year, twice a year, or whatever it takes, we just keep staying energized and focused for God, and He's going to reward us. And I'm just so thankful.
Amen.
I forgot to say something like that.
Well, come on up here and say, because he's still recording.
We've been, well,
Yeah. It doesn't record backwards.
I'm gonna Wanda worked, and I'm so glad to have her with us. But we've been praying for someone to come in and play these instruments. And here we got blessed with the man coming in and brought his own instrument. That harmonica's beautiful.
Amen.
And this morning it sounded so good. We needed him. He needed us. So I'm glad for him to be here. And one day I want to tell you thank you. I love you. You worked hard. And I appreciate it. I really do. And all the hard work. We got some workers in this church.
Yeah.
So
they proved it, so they messed up. Now I know.
But we got you. But God is good to us, and I'm always going to go back tomorrow. Where's Tim at? He's got to get out there.
Yeah, you got to start fundraising. They want to go back tomorrow.
That's right. Give me
Let's
some
do
money.
it. Got $50.